So now, all right, welcome back to Starsector. First of all, guys, I apologize for the audio quality. I'm recording with a simple microphone here because my actual mic is still broken. I did hear back from Rode, and I just need to get them some information to send in my mic to get repaired. And anyway, one of the problems with that is I'm closing on a house this week and my address is going to change, so I'm like, what a hassle. Right there, what we just saw was a screen with several different graphs, this screen here. And I just discovered that for the first time somehow. I don't know how I have always missed that screen, but yeah, what a interesting information. Anyway, I'm post-recording this because my mic didn't work when I recorded this episode. This is probably going to be the last episode of the year, perhaps, just because we're buying a house. Then after that, it's Thanksgiving vacation for a week, and I never go home for Thanksgiving, but this year I decided to, so that was bad timing for my mic to break, among other things. And then after that, we have to actually move into the new house, and then after that, I have to get ready to go on vacation, and I've got a work thing coming up, so oh my god. Yeah, it's been quite a busy year, which is why I haven't done anything other than Starsector since summer, and God, this is starting to work like a channel update, really, more than anything. And yeah, I just haven't had a lot of time. I have another project I've been working on in my private time, which I posted a video about for my members. But anyway, I have been looking at some other games that I've been thinking about wanting to play. Like I played Vagris, the Riven Realms, and I don't know how I feel about it. Like it's a lot like Sunless Seas, and it appeals to me for a lot of the same reasons as Sunless Seas. I think there's some things that they could have done to that game that would have been simple, like adding a reveal shroud like Sunless Seas had, maybe randomizing the continent a little bit like Sunless Seas did. That would have made it, that would have further enhanced it and just been the cherry on top. I don't know if I'm going to do a playthrough of that game or not because it's very slow. There's a lot of things about it that annoy me, but anyway, you're here to watch Starsector, so. What we're doing here is we're checking out some of these planets, just performing prelim surveys, because I want to find one that has no atmosphere. We did find a great one right there next to my original gas giant, which is probably where I'm going to put up fuel production, because it had no atmosphere and it had low gravity, which increases accessibility. But just for the sake of being thorough, we're going to check out these other planets and see what they look like. Now, you'll see me pull it up on screen here in a bit, but I am at my max colony level, so I don't know that I'm going to put in colonies just yet. And obviously, without doing a full survey here, I don't know what other conditions might be here, but obviously, if it's hot, then it's going to have that additional hazard rating without the benefit of the low gravity bonus, so these are probably not worth even bothering to check. I mean, there's not going to be a bonus like, oh, we're actually habitable, like kind of rating or anything silly like that. There's nothing that's going to lower the hazard rating if I survey it. So yeah, I'd like to say that a lot gets done in this episode, but spoiler alert, I don't get a lot done. Yeah, so here you see that, I mean, the ore, whatever, but this is the best planet. I'm probably not going to find a better planet in this system than this one for fuel production. I have absolutely no fuel right now, and I need to do something about that. And we are still waiting a week for my ability to go back to Glacier Academy. I do have a contract right now that I need to satisfy, but I don't have the fuel to get there, so I'm like, well, where am I going to pick up fuel? And that's going to be the Sindrian Diktat, no doubt. I'm just trying to look for another way to optimize my use of time. And again, spoiler alert, I kind of don't. We end up being in space for well over a week. I mean, the end of this episode, I still don't get back to Glacier Academy, but it's okay. We bolster our funds a little bit, but frankly, in hindsight, I might as well have just colonized that planet. And I mean, if I went and did a deep space mission, that would also be ridiculous because that's going to be, weeks, if not months, out of my time. And frankly, I want to progress the story mission because once you do, that will actually make deep space exploration a lot different. But here we are, just picking up some random junk. nothing that I need. Oh, I picked up my Tachyon Lance and I didn't put it on my Paragon yet. I'm going to look at refitting my Paragon here a little bit later in the episode. There's a space battle, which I'm not going to get involved in because whatever I do, whoever it is not going to be happy with me afterwards. There's something interesting that happens here. So watch my transponder status as I jump into Syndria. Here we go. Almost out of fuel. Crazy. I do... Oh, did I not turn on my transponder? No, my transponder's on, right? See, my transponder status is on right now. And here's this fleet coming and being like, why is your transponder off? It's like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what this is all on. But anyway, whatever. Explain that one to me. I don't know what happened there. Like, has he just been hanging out in space looking for me because like months ago I came in here without my transponder? I find that hard to believe. Anyway, looked like a little bit of a bug. This is a good place to sell metal. We'll get our survey data out of there. Why not? And here I start dinking around with the Paragon a little bit. And spoiler alert, I don't think I accomplish much. But I do want the Tachyon Lance on here, and I put it on the turrets instead of my hard points just because the high intensity lasers turn a lot slower. And here I'm just trying to figure out what am I going to do here. You know, do I really need the point defense pointing in the rear right now? I don't know. I don't think so. So I just put in a couple PDs there. Got a rear mount PD. I don't need burst PDs in my opinion. Yeah, just like, what am I going to do though? But now I've got like a whole bunch of OP, and I'm already basically at max capacitors and vents, so what am I going to do? Yep, that's the question. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. I can tell you that I did have an idea that I was thinking about testing, which was to put on, I forget what it's called, you'll see it in a minute, the mod that turns your weapons into hard flux. Your energy weapons become hard flux energy weapons, and it cuts their range in half. And I'm like, well, I have a bonus to my range, like an incredible bonus, right? Advanced optics plus advanced targeting core. So why don't I take off one of these things or try adding on, where is it? I'm looking for it right now. High scatter amplifier. All right, so why not try putting on the high scatter amplifier on the Paragon? And I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take a look at its range. But in the end, the reason I don't go with it is, although it would be great on the Paragon, one of the things about the Paragon is that it's so slow. It moves so slow. You really need that long range. You really need that long range on your weapons to keep it, you know, viable in combat. Right. See, if you have long range, then you don't have to move as fast, right? Because you can respond to what's going on around you. You can change targets, etc. But if you have shorter range, then you need to be able to switch targets quickly. So, you know, you don't have a burn drive like the Onslaught does, right? So now you've got shorter range, but you don't have any speed. So I felt like in the end that made the high scatter amplifier not a good choice for the Paragon. So here we take a look, and I'm like, yeah, that's just not, I don't think that's going to be good range for what I've got. I'm like, I want to keep my, I just want to keep it at long range. And I was like a little disappointed in that decision, but anyway. I do have a ton of operation points to work with on this Onslaught, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do with my spare? Because I'm already basically at max. You know, I'm like, what's 15? You know, in the future, I could build in, well, not built in, because built in removes your operation points, doesn't it? And I've already got a built-in mod on it. Here I'm just going to finish stockpiling my fuel. This is a terrible place to buy fuel, but I need fuel, so. Anyway, but what I can do later is put in some higher OP weapons on my Paragon. So like the high intensity lasers, I could put in more Tachyon Lances there if I feel like it. Here I'm thinking about, well, do they have any antimatter blasters or not Tachyon Lance, what are they called? Not the Gravitons, the other one, I forget what they're called. The medium mount version of the Tachyon Lance, and they don't, so phase lance, is that what it's called? Anyway, they don't have it. That's the thing I want. But and the reason why the phase lance is so good on the what's it called again? The ship we were just looking at. God, I forget. Is that its special ability is to disable shields and everything on your target, and then you hit it with the phase lance, and the phase lance does EMP damage to the target as well. So the heavy blasters aren't bad, but it's just got way better synergy with the phase lance. I really think, God, it's not the Scarab. It's gonna drive me nuts until I figure out what that ship is called. And it was just looking at me right in the face. God. Anyway, it's such a powerful synergy, and I really do think they need to mod. I think he needs to nerf that system. Like, it's just too powerful. I've said that before, but you know, you got people, you can, like, it's one thing to take out an onslaught with a ship, like a high-tech frigate or something like that. It's another thing when you're like taking out end game content, like space stations and stuff with one single ship. Like, to me, I'm like, that's going beyond my suspension of disbelief. And now, of course, I'm not a good enough pilot to do it myself, but it just shows that I think that, the ship's system is too powerful. And he did already once fix the Hyperion ship system, and the way this ship system works now is like much, much better. It still puts a premium on player piloting skill, but it doesn't make it such that your piloting skill, basically makes a mockery of the entire game's combat system. So, or the premise of it, So, anyway, we did our delivery. Now I'm like, well, okay, now what do I do? What am I looking for here? Efficiency overhaul would be great to get. I should, but I keep thinking too, like, I'm going to be doing a lot of salvage later. So I'm like, why buy a blueprint that I'll just salvage later? And I honestly, I know why, but honestly, my reason for doing it is because I just get a bit of satisfaction from finding my blueprints instead of buying them, and that's all it is. It's just that dopamine, that dopamine reward later on in the game when I find it, and I'm like, right-click to learn. I'm like, yeah, I got it for free. That's literally the only reason for me doing it right here. If you're really playing smart, then you should just buy it. I do buy blueprints too, by the way, when I absolutely need them. And the efficiency overhaul, it would be a nice to have, but it's not a required item. Here I'm discovering that we have very cheap heavy armaments, and we have a very high demand for them at Umbra. So I'm definitely going to pick these up and sell them. I can't afford them. Whoops. So we'll grab as many as we can, because obviously more money, more good. What's the kitty cat doing? She's doing something. Anyway, so yeah, we'll head back to Asconia, and I'm like, yeah, why not? Why not? I do need to do something about some of my status with other factions. Oh, and here we go. Captain, okay, as your gaze begins to skim the crowd for potential jobs, man, spotless Tritachyon executive attire insinuates before you. Captain Justin Bailey, we are so pleased to have you chosen to visit this franchise. The Tritachyon Corporation values your contribution to the local economy. He smiles perfectly as you realize that your hand is being shaken. If we may sit over here, I would like to discuss a special matter, company business. Ask what's going on. Please, he indicates the spot where a curtain has withdrawn to reveal a private booth that you did not previously notice was even there. Let us provide you with a complimentary refreshment. Follow the agent. Noticing your surprise, each customer builds a tri-taste profile as they enjoy our products. Correlating purchase history with time of day and certain other physiological signifiers allows. He raises his hands apologetically. I get carried away sometimes. It's my passion for customer satisfaction. You understand what is being said. We're watching you. But we're here to talk about your business. The agent's hand gently points at you without otherwise moving. Not mine. And what business may that be, or I don't appreciate being spied on. There was an incident recently. The Atslan relay was compromised. Very embarrassing for HedgeCom, what with history of such incidents, but embarrassment comes at a propensity for overreaction of conclusion leapt at based on long-held biases against the Tritachyon Corporation. Now we consider the unpleasantness of the AI wars water under the bridge. After all, there's business to be done. The agent's smile disappears and his tone goes cold. Our shareholders have much to lose. We cannot allow tensions to be inflamed by adventurism. His eyes narrow, nor do I expect the current provost of Galatia to last long in her post. Give some thought to who you choose to do business with. Okay, point taken. Thanks for the drink, and leave. That's it. Okay. So we progressed that story a little bit. And why am I going to Eldfell? Did I have a contract? I can't remember. I think I do. I think I got a delivery contract for Eldfell, and I'm going to do that before I head to Sindria. It's still bothering me. I can't remember this stupid ship name. You can never remember things when you feel under pressure to remember them. And look at this. This fleet is still out here looking for me. They've got a bunch of, it's not a scary fleet, except that they do have a bunch of built-in mods on their ships. And actually, it'd be great to, like, grab those. And I'm debating it. I'm like, well, this fleet can definitely take theirs out. But I'm also like, well, what am I going to do with even more ships? I'm not near home. I've got other stuff to do right now. You know, so I'm like, well, am I going to take them or not? And I'm a little uncertain about what I want to do here. But let's see. I think I just jump in here because I think mistake Myasura as my destination, but it's not. See, they're running for my fleet now that they've identified me. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And then here I'm like, wait, where's Eldfeld? Oh, I'm in the wrong system. It's the wrong system. It's not our system. Yep. So let's go back out to hyperspace. The hegemony just jumped in after us, so we totally juked him. There we go. Into Eldfeld we go. The asteroids are highly annoying. I cannot get around them, but I'm also too stubborn to turn off my sustained burn. Booyah. Now, one of the problems with doing this instead of going straight to what's called Umbra is that the prices on Umbra may have changed. Oh, by the way, it's a Harbinger, right? Roll over it. Nope, I didn't roll over it. It's a Harbinger, though. That's the name of the ship. So the Harbinger ship system is the one that I think is way OP. But I'm still going to use it. So definitely not buying supplies here. I'm wondering about selling them, but I need my supplies, so it's kind of like, well, I mean, sell them at a profit here and then buying them again later. I don't know. But Kazaron sells supplies for pretty cheap, so maybe I should just buy some. I should have just sold them and then bought them at Kazaron, but anyway, I didn't. So once again, dinking around instead of doing what I need to. See, super cheap. Also fairly cheap. And I'm like, well, actually, this is what I should grab. I can't, though, because they're still too expensive. So I think I'm just going to grab all the supplies. Well, I can't, but you know what I mean. Grab as many as I can get, because I need a ton of supplies. Okay. And yep, I'm at max, so. Nothing doing here, man. Nothing doing here either. I ain't going all the way out there to fight stupid pirate frigates. So really, it's just back to Asconia, and then I need to head back to Galatia. I'm like, screw this, let's go. I just burned a crap ton of my supplies to do that. And I'm gonna try and fail to get through those storms, but oh well. I can turn my transponder on. Pirates aren't gonna attack me. Look at that. What a deal. I'm just gonna see if there's anybody actually wanting. She's not. I was gonna see if there's anybody who actually even wants to do a contract on heavy armaments before I just outright sell them. But there isn't, so I'm just gonna outright sell them. And on the open market, why not? Let's improve our relations with the pirates. The crew is cheap, but I don't want more crew. Yeah, it's time to just go to Galatia. He really needs to put a link to the system map from that other map, because I often find myself having to do 2 clicks just to get back to the system map. Or also Galatia Academy should just show up on this particular display when it doesn't. So I hope that gets fixed by 1.0. I'm like, well, should I buy something here? Buy some supplies, obviously, because we're just perpetually out of them. But then I'm like, well, where am I going to sell this stuff? I'm going to Galatia, and the hegemony hates me, so let's not buy that. I should have sold some of my heavy machinery. I've got 325 of it. It's just money that I keep forgetting that I'm hauling around, but I need to get rid of it. It's just taking up useless cargo space. I don't know why I'm thinking about the light mortars. I just like them. I like them as just creating bullet hell. That's basically it. They're not the most efficient for your flux, but I also like that they're easy to mount with, just the 2 OP cost. Its low flux buildup is alone saving grace. Yeah. Oh, look at that, actually. We're at the end of the episode. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Till then,